Curtis says he's ready, so.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It's 6 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We have two meetings on the agenda tonight. One is organizational, which is essentially to take care of some housekeeping issues that are required by the charter, and also election of the mayor and the vice mayor. So the second meeting is a regular meeting that will take place immediately following the organizational meeting, provided we don't have any other issues. So if you're following along on the agenda, we have already called the meeting to order. I've taken roll call. We do have a quorum present. So the next item on the agenda is election of officers. So in a few minutes, I will call for nominations. And your nomination doesn't need to be seconded, and you can nominate yourself if you wish. If you are nominated by someone else, I would ask that you please let me know if you consent to the nomination or if you wish to decline it. If there is more than one nomination, I'll proceed to a roll call vote unless there's a motion for an election by ballot, and results of the election by ballot will be final as long as there's a majority vote. So if there's only one nomination, then I will call for a motion to close nominations and to declare that nominee is elected. After we've elected a mayor, then I will swear in the new mayor, and I will turn over the meeting to that person to handle the rest of it. Okay, any questions? No? All right, well then I'd like to open the floor for nominations for mayor, please.
Madam Chairman, I would like to nominate Greg Mapes.
Thank you. Commissioner Allman, are there any other nominations? No? No other nominations? Well then I would entertain a motion to close nominations and elect Commissioner Mapes as mayor. So moved. So moved.
Support.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion?
Well, he gave me a 25-page thing. I'm not going to do it.
No.
That's what he gave me, was $25.
$25?
I think suffice it to say that after how many, 14 years or so, Greg, I think he's got it figured out at this point, so.
It's been a couple days.
All right, any other comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, motion is carried. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, if you would stand with me, raise your right hand. I'm going to try to get this right this time. You solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the State of Michigan and the Constitution of the United States, and you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of mayor and for the city of Alma, the county of Gratiot, the state of Michigan, to the best of your ability, so help you God.
I will.
Thank you. I'll get you to sign here for me, probably not with my green pen.
Probably not.
And here, please.
Okay. Excuse me. Oops.
Oh, I used a pen that doesn't work. I apologize. All right.
Very good.
Thank you. The meeting is all yours.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. So next, we would accept nominations to appointment to serve, for a commissioner to serve as vice mayor of the city of Alma through December 2026. I don't think I can make nominations for the chair, correct? That's correct. So it's got to be one of you guys.
I'll nominate myself.
There you go. Okay, are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Last call, any other nominations? Okay, with that, we'll accept a motion to close the nominations.
So moved.
Your motion, supporting the support. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Nominations are closed. With that, we would take a vote on the nomination. All those in favor of electing Roxanne to serve once again as vice mayor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. Roxanne, you're vice mayor again. Thank you very much. Appreciate your willingness to serve. Next item is to establish a time of holding for regular meetings. Whoops, you probably wanted her to sign something, don't you?
I would like to swear.
I'm anxious to get the Alley's reports.
Nice to taste there. Constitution of the United States, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Vice Mayor and for the City of Belmont, the County of Gratiot, and the State of Michigan to the best of your abilities, so help you God.
I will.
Thank you. You'd be so kind. All right, thank you. Congratulations. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. You did a fine job.
Thank you.
Great job remembering all that, too.
Thank you.
Having that memorized, it's impressive.
You're off the hook.
Hands will stop shaking now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next, we are to establish a time of holding our regular meetings. As everyone in this committee is probably aware, we've been meeting at 6 o'clock on the second and fourth Tuesdays. Does anybody care to make a nomination, a motion as far as setting time and dates for our meetings for 2025 and 2026? Or I guess through 2025 and 2026.
So moved. Support.
And the motion, as I understood it, was to continue meeting on the second and fourth Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what we all understand. Anybody have any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. We've set our meeting agendas, our times. Next up is designation of depositories. We are to consider a resolution designating Mercantile Bank, Commercial Bank, Flagstar Bank, PNC Bank, Isabella Bank, Huntington National Bank, MBIA Class Account, Michigan One Community Credit Union, Independent Bank, Fifth Third Bank, Fifth Third Securities, Gratiot Community Credit Union, Graco Federal Credit Union, Isabella Community Credit Union, and CDARS through any of the financial institutions listed above as approved depositories for city funds. Your pleasure.
So moved.
Support.
A motion support. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. The motion is carried, and we have depository institutions. Next is the appointment of the city attorney. We consider a resolution to appoint Adam Fleury as city attorney and Pamela Munderloh as assistant city attorney, and fixing compensation as reasonable and customary charges.
So moved. Support.
A motion support. Any comments or questions?
And just so the commission knows, they have agreed to hold their rates for legal services from the last 2 years, so
No increase.
no increase.
Good news.
Yeah.
We should have led with that. Okay. Anybody else have comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. The motion is carried, and we have attorneys now. Okay, commissioner comments for this section of our meeting. Roxanne, would you like to lead us off?
Congratulations, Greg.
Dan?
Nothing else. Congratulations.
Thank you. Roger?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Okay. Sonia?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, we should add welcome. Should add welcome to Sonia.
Oh, thank you.
Very good, yes.
Yes, welcome.
Drew?
Congratulations, Greg.
Sarah?
The same. Congratulations.
All right.
And thank you.
And Eric?
No, on to the next thing, so I'm good.
And I welcome, I'll share that too. Welcome, Sonia. It's good to have you aboard.
Thank you.
And thank you to the commission once again. So with that, we'll open it up to the members of the public. If any members of the public would like to address the commission on, as far as this meeting goes, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and you have up to 5 minutes to share your thoughts with the commission.
Well, it won't take 5 minutes.
You betcha you won't.
Dave Owens, I'm some of you guys' county commissioner, and I just wanted to update you on the airport. Eric knows because he's on the committee, but I don't know if he shares it with you. We had a bid in for a bond, not for a bond, for a grant for $1.4 million to redo the terminal. We didn't get it, but we thought it was a pretty good proposal, and we'll put it in again next year. And we have taken out the underground tanks, and there was no contamination. And now that we don't have to have a truck pull up to your airplane, people can pull right up there, swipe their credit card, and fill up. And we're selling quite a bit more gas than before. That was a pretty good party they had out there too, wasn't it, Eric? The EA invited us out there. And also I want to thank Michelle for volunteering on the recycling committee. You and Sheila can get those guys shaped up.
We will, thanks.
That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission at this point? I'm not seeing anybody come forward, so we'd entertain a motion to adjourn this particular meeting.
So moved.
Support.
Support, last chance for comments or questions. Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Moving right down to our next meeting. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda that's presented tonight?
Do I have a spot for my water authority report? I mean, I know there's something on there for Dave, but I didn't know if that was,
No, that's for wastewater.
okay.
And I did include the Gawa,
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, we could do it during that. We can pull that
Okay, sounds good.
if you'd like to.
Yes, please.
Okay. Anybody else? Sounds like we have a plan. Did we get a motion to accept the agenda? I did not. Okay, so we look for a motion to accept the agenda as
So-
presented. Thank you.
Support.
A motion, support, comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We have an agenda. Thank you. Let's see, call to order. We are called to order. So roll call. You were done with that? Yes. Done with that. Okay. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. We will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of this body for the December 17, 2024 session.
So moved.
Support.
A motion support, any comments, questions, additions, deletions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried and we've approved the minutes. Request for purchase, we are to consider, excuse me, a resolution to approve a request for purchase to Ohm Advisors in the amount of $21,400, which is for engineering and project oversight services on the Charles Avenue Sidewalk Extension and Boardwalk Project.
Move approval.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion support. Any comments or questions? Background you want to share?
Yeah, just a reminder, this is we received a grant for $168,000 to complete the rest of the Charles Street Avenue multi-use path through the shared streets, shared places. And we'd like to get the engineers underway so we can start construction during the same time we're doing the Charles Avenue Neighborhood Street project. So this is just to get the engineers going.
Okay, last chance for comments or questions. Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. Thank you. Recommendation on bids. We are to consider a resolution to receive and award bids for the annual chemical procurement, which is for the wastewater treatment plant, and also to approve the related request for purchase. And before us we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bids. And the low bids were from, for ferric chloride, looks like it was $1,145 a dry ton for a total of $29,770. And for sodium hypochlorite, JCI Jones Chemicals Riverview, $1.72 a gallon for a total of $55,040 are the low bids. Your pleasure on these bids. And the recommendation from staff is to accept the low bid, sorry.
Move to accept the low bid.
Support.
Motion support, last chance for comments or questions.
Just to give a note to the commission, we were dealing with some increases of chemicals over the last few years. I'm happy to report if we look at last year's ferric chloride, that stayed steady at the $1,145 per dry ton. That's what we paid last year. And then for the sodium hypochlorite, believe it or not, last year we paid $1.39 per gallon, and this year we're at $1.72. So we've stabilized and saved a little bit. So that is some good news from the operational standpoint. So hopefully that continues in other areas as well.
hopefully.
Yes.
Okay. With that, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion's carried, and we've got some chemical contracts. Resolutions, we're to consider a resolution ratifying the investment of the following city funds. And before us, it looks like we've got 4 of them, ranging from $335 to $415 in interest rates, 3 Cedars and 1 U.S. Treasury security purchase. Your pleasure on the ratification of the funds.
Move to approve.
Support.
Got a motion support. Are there comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next up, consideration of a resolution adopting the poverty exemption guidelines for the City of Elma Board of Review to implement, which includes maximum asset standards. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion support. Questions, or you want to give us some
Just,
background?
it's our yearly requirement to approve this resolution for the poverty exemption guidelines. It's a pretty strict guideline, it's a pretty low bar, so it's very rare when folks meet that qualification, but we have to have it for the board review that's coming up in March.
Routine. Anybody else? Comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. Thank you. Next, we are to consider a resolution of appreciation for Lori Harrison.
Move to adopt.
Support.
We have a motion support. Am I to read this?
No.
I don't have instructions. Would you have a copy in front of us? If Lori comes, we'll read it for her.
Here we go. We gave a copy of this to you because it will become part of the minutes. That's why it's in front of you. So.
Okay, thank you. I believe we had a motion support. Anybody have any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. Thank you. And thank you to Lori. Appreciate your service. Ordinances. First, we are to consider a resolution to adopt ordinance number 846, an ordinance to amend the zoning map as it appears in section 60-52 of the ordinances of the City of Elma, which will conditionally rezone a parcel of property known as 245 East Warwick Avenue, and this is going from Zone OS, which is Office Services, to Zone B2, which will be General Business.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion to support. Comments or questions? I guess some
Just-
background for the
yep.
camera?
Just again, this is the final step in the conditional rezoning process. This will allow that location to be used for a drugstore pharmacy, which is right across from the hospital. The next step on this, you'll be approving the agreement that's attached to this layer for the zoning map.
Okay. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. So now we are to consider a resolution authorizing the execution of a conditional rezoning agreement, which is between the City of Elma and RZJ Properties LLC, who is the property owner, which conditionally rezones the property located at 245 East Warwick Avenue from OS, which is Office Services, to B2 General Business District. Your pleasure.
Move to approve.
Support.
Support.
Motion support. No more explanation necessary, right?
This is the agreement that ties to that rezoning change, and if it ever ceases to be used for that purpose, the zoning agreement stops and reverts back to the OS Office Services zoning.
But it is transferable
It
under
is
the same
transferable.
conditions.
Yeah, under the same
correct?
conditions, that's correct.
Thank you. Anybody else with comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Next, consideration of a resolution to adopt ordinance number 847, which is an ordinance to amend the zoning map as it appears in section 60-52 of the ordinances of the City of Elma to rezone several parcels of property which are commonly known as State Street Plaza from Zone B2, which again is general business, to Zone WF, which is waterfront.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support.
Yep.
Background?
Yes, these are all properties that are owned by the City of Elma. What had kind of implemented this, or kind of the jumping off stage of why we're doing this, we're looking to divide and sell what used to be the transportation office building in State Street Plaza. This will allow us to sell that and keep the property, the parking lot, and those adjacent parcels to the south along Mechanic Street and the rail. to use for future redevelopment. The difference from the B2 to the WF, this gives the Planning Commission and the City Commission a lot more options on what a potential developer can do. If they're not listed even as a special use or a permitted use, underneath the waterfront redevelopment, that if a developer has an idea that might make sense for the community, they can bring that forward without having to go through a rezoning process. So it just makes it easier for someone that has an idea and development dollars to come in and get it done. But this will take us to the next step for us to sell the building down there as well.
Okay. Does that include the big building? The big building as well as the
Yes.
little, okay.
Yes.
That is the big.
That is the big,
Yeah,
okay.
we're not going to sell the little building.
No.
No, but it would still have to be rezoned, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that
whole
parcel,
piece of property.
that'll be
yeah.
all part of that, and that building will be demoed.
Okay.
We did receive those grant dollars from the land
Right.
bank
Okay.
to do that, so that'll be done within the next 3 months or so.
Okay, great.
But that will, all that property that we own along that area, the city owns along that area, will be rezoned to WF.
From the post office south.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, cool.
Anybody else? Comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, we've rezoned the property. Okay, moving down to J, reports of officers, boards, and committees. Commissioners may receive the following.
You can go up to I.
Did I miss one?
Agreement.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Consideration of a resolution approving project authorization 2022-0005/P7 fiscal year 2025, section 5311. This is operating funds, operating formula grants for rural area programs to provide federal operating funds to Elma Transit. Also to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute the agreement on behalf of the city. Our pleasure.
Move to approve.
Support.
I see support in the audience. Okay, anybody have comments or questions?
This is our yearly agreement with the federal government. A month ago, this board approved the state funding agreements, and that is the federal one.
Okay. Last chance, anybody? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, and we should be getting some funds then. You employed another day. Okay, now we'll move to reports of officers, boards, and committees. Commissioners may receive the following reports by one resolution, or any commissioner may remove any of the items within the section for individual discussion and vote. Before us tonight, we have the December 2024 Board of Review meeting minutes, the Elma Police Department December 2024 report, the Elma Transit December 2024 report, the Planning Commission January 6, 2025 meeting minutes, the GAWA, which is Gratiot Area Water Authority, fiscal year 2024 financial audit report, the Finance December 2024 report, and the City Manager's report. Our pleasure on receiving these reports.
Move to receive 1 through 4 and 6, pulling 5 and 7, right? You wanted it pulled, didn't you? Didn't you want to pull?
Sure,
So you-
yes.
All right, what I said.
Okay, so we have a motion,
Support.
we have support. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, and we have received 1 through 4 and 6. Any comment or any motions on 5 and 7?
Move to receive 5 and 7.
Support.
We have motion and support. Discussion on 5. Let's start there. Roxanne.
The GAWA board elected Kurt Giles as chair again, and Eric Ripley as vice chair, and recording secretary Kim Fellows, me as secretary, which is really nothing. Kim Fellows is the recording secretary we need. The final audit from Yo and Yo was a clean, unmodified opinion audit, which is the best audit outcome we could possibly receive. So thanks to Bobby's hard work in St. Louis that keeps all of our financials for GAWA clean and unmodified. We continue to grow cash reserves. Gross assets increased. The invested income earned covers half of our operating loss because we were operating with a loss, but that includes depreciation. So Dave or Ally, if I mess this up, because I was half writing things with blood sugar of 46, is covered by customer fees, the depreciation, which was covered by customer fees. And the invested income earned also covered half of the operating loss. Does that sound
That probably sounds about
sound
right.
right?
Yes,
And then we
From
continue
memory.
to fund the
Yes.
depreciation to where we don't have to increase customer rates any more than we've already planned with our rate increases per year standardly, unrelated to what the operating costs are, so. And we accepted a proposal to continue groundwater level monitoring and reporting for an additional year. We hadn't depleted our budget yet that supplies the money towards, there's been earmarked to do the monitoring and reporting. In this way, it gives us a definite value and backup data to explain to customers what is going on or not going on, as the case may be, in order to deny any rumors with actual facts. So we thought that was a good use of funds we've already allocated for that. So I think that's, in a nutshell, what we did. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you.
Does anybody have questions for Roxanne? Or for staff, for that matter? They don't have to be with Roxanne.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, since I think we took them both in one motion, so now we can have discussion on item 7. Or Derek, you wanna
Yep, I'll just give you a...
give an overview there?
Yep, I'll just do a quick overview to give some time to Ally to go through the audit. The dam reduction application, have a report that we did get through the first hurdle, which is the pre-application, which we've never been able to do before. So we are going to be submitting the full application by the end of the month for $236,000 for a feasibility study, in which that feasibility study will provide us the options to look at for the impoundment in the dam, what we will do for the future. So we can have like Roxanne mentioned, about having a discussion about facts and what we can and can't do, or if we don't do anything, what will happen too as well. So that's always an option, but it's probably not the best option. Also wanted to share with the group, we did receive a letter a couple months ago stating that we did receive a perfect score on our assessment audit review. But they did send from the Treasury Department a letter specifically stating that fact and a certificate for that. So I just wanted to mention that here in a public setting, that a perfect score helps reassure, we hope to reassure the community that their assessments for their taxable values are being done properly and equitably across the community. So, and that's really what that audit is all about. Sanitary sewer event update. January 3rd, we did have, we discovered a sanitary sewer smell in our storm sewer, which is not supposed to happen. There are certain protocols that we have to follow when that happens. It was found by our crews when we were doing routine storm sewer maintenance. So going through it, we did inform the newspapers, because that's part of our requirement. Obviously reach out to Eagle, and we're back and forth with Eagle through the whole process on where we're at. We've narrowed it down to the section along between Richmond and Liberty along North River. Our crews are still doing some investigation work there, so we're doing some smoke testing and those sort of things. You hate to say it, but it would be nice to find the actual culprit of if it's something that's actually dumping directly, but the likelihood of that, since it's been there, this area hasn't been touched in a very long time. The likelihood it's something that's consistent is probably pretty rare, most likely an isolated incident, but we have to go through the whole process of elimination to at least say we've tried all these things and looked at all these things. We didn't find it. This stuff, we don't know where it came from, if that's ultimately what happens. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that, and the general public as well. And then lastly, 2024, we saw 14 employees reach milestones within their employment here at the City of Alma. 5 years, up to 25 years of employees that have been with us for those time periods. So we just wanted to let you know that some people think it's a good place to work because they're sticking around. So, but in all seriousness, we appreciate their years of service, their talents, and in a lot of these cases, these folks spend a lot more time than they're putting a lot of time in. So we appreciate their efforts. That's it.
Okay. Any comments or questions for Eric on his report? Just add my congratulations to that list of individuals and their milestones, their anniversaries. That's certainly appreciated. So with that, I believe we had a motion on the table to accept the number 5 and number 6 on the reports. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried and those reports are received. Next, we are to consider a resolution to make the following appointments to the Board of Review for one-year terms beginning January 1st, 2025. These appointments are for Tad Godfrey, David Justin, and Heather Theron. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support. Last chance for comments and questions. Presuming they've agreed to
Yes, they have.
read your appointment? Okay, good news. Sometimes we ask, right?
Well, that perfect audit, you got that has to continue.
Okay, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion is carried and they're appointed, and our thanks to them for being willing to serve again. New business, we are to receive a presentation of the City of Alma fiscal year 2024 annual comprehensive financial report and Alma Transit fiscal year 2024 annual comprehensive financial reports by Allie Barnes of Yo and Yo. Take it away, Allie, and welcome.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, we put a motion on the table before you start.
Move to receive. Support.
Okay, motion support, now you can go, thank you.
All right. Now, who told me which thing to use? Oh, good, I remembered. I wasn't sure I would. All right, well, thank you for having me tonight. We've made it through another successful audit here for the City of Alma. So I want to start out with a thank you to your finance director and his team. They did a tremendous job of being prepared for the audit and working with us throughout the audit to get questions answered, work through a few issues. So we really appreciate how cooperative they are and all the assistance that they provide to us. So we'll get into the audit results. Usually when you see this page, it says something like unmodified audit opinion, and you'll see today it says discussion. So this year, you always keep me on my toes. We had a new situation to handle. The Alma Housing Commission is considered a component unit of the City of Alma. For financial statement reporting purposes, that means that we have to take their financial information and roll it up into the City of Alma's audited financial statements as a whole. Our firm does not audit Alma Housing Commission. That's performed by another CPA. That particular CPA did not pass their peer review. So as CPAs, we have to be audited also to make sure that we're following all the standards that we're required to. And this particular, I believe it's a sole proprietorship, did not pass their peer review. So what that means is when we come in and take a look at the information that needs to be rolled up into City of Alma, we have to consider the professional reputation of whoever is auditing anything that rolls into the city. And when someone doesn't pass their peer review, that has to make us very skeptical of the information that's been presented in other financial statements, which in this case led us to issue what we call a disclaimer of opinion. So our audit opinion is unmodified when it comes to the governmental activities, business type activities, the major funds within your report. So your, for instance, your general fund, your utility funds, and then what we call aggregate remaining, so kind of everything else. What we did scope out was your component units. And so we issued a disclaimer of opinion basically saying, we can't give you an opinion on that particular piece because there is this issue. So most of what is in your financial statements did receive an unmodified opinion. In your general fund, which is, your most significant operating fund, was included in what received an unmodified opinion. This situation is not a reflection of your team here at the city and your finance director. This happens outside of their purview and their scope of responsibility. this really ended up being the best route to follow. There were a few options we kind of went through with the city manager and the finance director to come up with the best way to present this and for us to opine on the information in your statements. So do you want to wait till the end to ask questions, or do you want to cover any questions about that now?
I would just assume, hey, no questions regarding that carve-out at this point would probably be prudent.
Okay.
Are there questions regarding the disclaimer of opinion regarding the component union of Elma Housing? If you remember, this is the group that was insistent upon going their own way. And I don't know how much of this is, I forget all the backstory of, it seems like we were kind of aware of this back at that point.
Yes.
That there was going to be some issues with that. And I guess my primary question at this point, if barring nobody else has any, is did we as the City of Alma unit incur any additional audit expenses because of this finding, I guess, in the component unit?
Yes, the answer to that is yes. So there was additional time. First, once we discover that a peer review hasn't been passed, then there's additional steps we have to take internally. And then we had additional discussions, meeting with the city manager and with the finance director. We went back and redid a checklist related to component units and went back over that again with the finance director to make sure, yes, there is no way to get out of calling them a component unit. And then we had to spend the time, this is an unusual kind of situation, so coming up with the actual opinion wording took some research. And then because it's a disclaimer of opinion, it also has to be signed off by our quality of control director. So it has to make it through that level of review on top of the normal QC review. So there was additional time and expense incurred.
Okay, thank you.
And for you guys, we have
My next
submitted,
question? Okay.
have submitted that extra cost. It's $2,000 to the Housing Commission. They have their meeting coming up here in 2 weeks.
Okay, and I would expect that they would reimburse us for that cost.
That's my request. Yes.
Okay.
And I believe we discounted a portion of that work for you. So that wasn't the full cost. We did give a courtesy discount for some of that, so. Just
Not
so
sure we
you're-
asked for it. Thank you.
I know, but we try to be
You have always
community
treated us fairly.
partners
I believe you treat us fairly.
when
yes,
we're
so.
able.
Does anybody else have comments or questions?
Al, is there any other way that hurts us? I mean, we would have taken a $2,000 hit financially from that, but is there any other way that is a detriment to the city of Alma?
I can't foresee what ramifications that could have with the state. They may do some additional questioning, maybe. I don't know if you were to seek other external funding, if that could cause any issues, either with any kind of bonding or grant funding. It might, but it might not. And I would think if you explained the matter and having discussions, if it did come up as an issue, you'd likely be able to resolve it.
Thank you.
Anybody else before we move on? All right, I think that's all, so thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we'll get into some of the numbers piece of the audit. Here you can see the general fund 5-year trend of your most significant revenue areas. So you'll see property taxes continues to trend upwards. This year, under the state and federal, you'll see that increase significantly. There was, in the general fund, about 1.2 million in ARPA dollars that were recognized, which is why you see that spike there. Charges for services were down slightly from the previous year, but not a significant change. And then you kind of have everything else that gets lumped together also, and not a significant change there. So in total, your general fund brought in roughly 6.8 million in revenues. Here we can see on the expenditure side as well, mostly consistent when it comes to public safety, up just ever slightly. Public Works is trending upwards. Recreation and culture is actually coming back down. I think there was 1 year, I think where the green spike is maybe was a catch-up payment to the library. There wasn't one made maybe in 2021, and then additional money went in 2022. General government, relatively consistent. You're still down from where spending was there back in 2020 and 2021. The category that saw the most significant change is the other category, and this is a category that includes capital outlay. So within this section is where the cost for the downtown parking lots is coming through. So that was an anticipated expenditure that you had budgeted for. So within this fund, expenditures for the year were about 5.5 million. So that gets us into fund balance. So you have both non-spendable and unassigned fund balance, unassigned portion being the most significant, which is usually what you want to see. In your case, that's what I would expect to see. So general fund ended the year with about 5.7 million in total fund balance. Of that, 5.4 million is in that unassigned portion. You'll see that from 2023 to 2024, there was an increase in fund balance. That was about 1.2 million. I wouldn't dance around and say, yay, found money. I think
New police cars all around.
Yeah. I think this is really a timing issue on some of your capital projects. So when you look at your budget to actual within your capital outlay approvals, that section was under budget by about 900,000. So had those projects been able to have all of that work done before June 30th, you would not have seen this large increase. Maybe you would have still seen an increase, but not to the 1.2 million. So I believe that those expenditures that didn't happen in this fiscal year were then carried forward into your budget for fiscal year 25. So you'll see that money spent then. Okay, changing gears, we're going to talk about your utility funds. So the first one is wastewater. So two pieces of information here. This top line shows you the trend of your net position. So that comes in at about 10.6 million at the end of the fiscal year. Included in this is what we call net capital assets. So any of your capital assets, all that infrastructure, less any related debt, is included in this total number and does make up the greater majority of this. So when we look at what's out there to spend, what do we have liquid, there's about 3.5 million in cash and investments in this fund at the end of the year. So you'll see, net position has been trending upwards. This year, your cash and investments is relatively flat to the previous year. But you do have some cash available. This fund did have operating income of about $1 million. So that's positive because it gives...
Sorry, do you want questions in the middle? Or?
I can. Let me finish the sentence and I'll come back.
Sorry.
Okay. So the fund had $1 million in operating income, which how this fund works, when you make capital investments, it's not an expense, but you do need the cash. So it makes your income statement look better because it's going to show an increase, which means then you put cash to your balance sheet, which you could turn around and put into your capital assets. I'll take your question.
Sorry, the number for net position, usually that's net of the debt associated with those assets?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I think in that fund, it's about 7 million, I think that is the actual capital assets less the debt piece. So.
And depreciation, net of depreciation as well? So the depreciation is out of that?
What has been expensed so far, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Okay, so then we have the water utility fund. So same pieces of information. We have the net position, which you'll see this year increased. It's now at 7.4 million. Again, this is going to include those capital assets as well. But when we look at what's liquid, you had cash and investments at the end of the year of about 2.9 million. So strong cash balances in those funds. This particular fund also had operating income of roughly $1 million also for the year. All right, when we take a look at your long-term obligations, we have 3 categories. So we kind of look at what is either bonded debt or notes payable type debt, and you'll see that has been being paid off over the last several years. So you're down to about 2.6 million left at the end of fiscal year 24. You do not have significant compensated absence balances. That's roughly 256,000. There is a new accounting standard that will be in effect for your next fiscal year that relates to how compensated absences are recorded. So there is the potential that that number is going to increase. The rules around how you come up with what gets recorded have needed some tweaking. The accounting profession has needed a little more black and white as to what the GASB has wanted. There's been lots of gray, and so the stance they took is likely going to cause this balance to increase. At least some is going to be my guess. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect you much other than your finance team is going to have to figure out how to implement that and do the new calculation. And then your largest long-term obligation is going to be your net pension liability. So this is a pension plan through MERS. This amount is not calculated by us. It is not calculated by your finance team. It is provided to you via actuarial information from MERS and their auditors. So you'll see that you had a couple years there where it was starting to trend downwards. And then we had a year where the market was awful and you saw your net pension liability spike, which is that darker blue there. And now you'll see that it's starting to come back down. So at the end of fiscal year 24, your liability was about 8.3 million. You are still funded just over 70%, so that's a positive. The market has so much to do with what this number ends up being at any given year. This is a snapshot in time, and the actuarial valuation is a December measurement date, not your June fiscal year end. So there is a 6-month lag there in what gets reported in your financial statements. So potentially some more work to be done there, reducing that liability. But again, the market is going to significantly impact what happens to that.
So that number was from December 2024 or December 2023?
2023.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
The market change since then is going to affect
Yes.
this next one. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. What's 2023 in blue reported there was the December 2022 market, which was down so significantly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I believe when I looked through your report, the investment loss let me say it this way. The investment gain reported in this year's financial statements was less than the loss that was reported on the previous year. So you haven't even made up yet everything that was lost in 2022. So maybe this valuation will be slightly better, hopefully. Okay, internal controls. So most of you know that we don't just look at the numbers while we're here. We look at lots of processes, have many discussions, try to work through how things are handled on a daily basis, what internal controls there are or are not. And we do have one management comment. This is a repeat management comment from the previous year and relates to electronic movement of money. So within the electronic moving of money, it is possible for one person to both initiate a transaction and approve that same transaction. And that's really an area that we like to see differentiated. If one person is going into a bank account and can initiate a transfer, we don't want them to be the final say. We want another person to come in and approve that. So still some work to be done there. Just because they have the ability to do that does not mean they're always doing that. But we would like to see it so that they're not doing it and they're not able to do that. And I believe most banks will work with you to make sure that this is a process that can be done. So just want to bring that to your attention. Other than that, though, no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, no major non-compliance. So really, other than having to issue the disclaimer related to the Alma Housing Commission, it really is a pretty good audit. And certainly your team did a lot to get you to this point. And I'll take other questions if you also have them.
Thank you, Ellie. Who has other questions? None? Just as far as the electronic payments, how many people would you recommend that we have authorized to either initiate or give the final approval on the electronic? I assume this is ACH files we're talking about? Or originations?
It's really anything that can be paid online. It includes ACH files, but it's more than that. It's wires, anything,
Yes.
transfers.
Okay, but I assume your big limits are probably ACH related, aren't they not?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, so the real risk is probably ACH.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking out loud, I mean, we probably need at least 4 to 6 people with the ability to step into these systems, given, vacations and sick time, and just to have people available to get it done. Is probably why it hasn't been done in the past, right?
Yeah, I mean, last year I had 3 full-time, including myself, we only had 3 full-time staff in finance, and one of them we specifically don't give bank access to because they are the one that does the nightly deposits and reconciliation, so we only have basically myself and one other full-time staff in finance,
You
so.
could have some other department heads do some kind of, at least have a cursory review of it, so it's,
Yeah.
would that not be appropriate?
Yeah.
Something like that for us to look at? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And to be clear, all but maybe like half a dozen payments last year did have the dual control. It was just, we had it set up so that if for some reason I was the only one here, we had to have something done today. So it's not like we were not doing it, we just have the ability to not do it.
But that's why you need multiple people. You gotta have a larger pool to draw from. And, as much as anything else, it's to protect you and your staff.
Right.
You don't want to inadvertently send $1 million to somebody that, you got a digit wrong in an account or something, and, the second review is very important on those things, because
And that's why they've been doing it, except for circumstances.
sometimes it's hard to get that money back, so. Okay. Any other questions? I don't hear anything, so thank you, Ally.
Thank you, Ally.
Appreciate it. And since there's no questions, I guess we'll go ahead and vote. Is receiving the report, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. I don't believe we have any unfinished business, appropriations. Is there any desire to pay the bills tonight?
Move to pay the appropriation.
Support?
A motion support. Are there any comments or questions about those bills? I'm hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried and the bills are paid. Commissioner comments. Roxanne, you want to start us out again tonight?
Sure. Thanks, Ally, and thanks to Curtis and his team for their diligent work. And congratulations and thanks to the employees for their years of service.
Kenny?
Thanks again, Curtis, for all your hard work, and Ally, and then welcome, Sonia.
Thank you.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah, thank you, guys. We love these kind of audits. Thank you. And again, welcome, Sonia. We'll do our best to make you feel comfortable.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and thank you for all your hard work for that report.
Michelle.
Welcome, Sonia, and then congratulations to Curtis and the team. And as it was brought up earlier, the state of Michigan has to have, each county has to have 3 people on the material management planning committee for the state regarding recycling. I was appointed by I'll just read you the letter. Dear Ms. Pitts, I'm pleased to inform you that on December 17th, the Gratiot County Board of Commissioners appointed you to the above named board, which is the Material Management Planning Committee. And so I will be representing Gratiot County as their elected official for the board for the state of Michigan. Thank you. And we have our next meeting, West Branch, on Friday.
Sounds like fun.
If anybody would like to join us at 10:30.
I think I'm busy then. Thank you. Sounds exciting though. Anything else, Michelle, or is that?
That's it.
Okay. Drew.
Yeah, thank you, Curtis and team, for all the work, and thanks, Ally. Welcome to Sonia.
Thank you.
And congratulations to everybody on the years of service, especially Kendra there, 25 years. That was nice to see.
Sarah?
Thank you.
Eric.
No, just I want to thank Curtis. Also thank all department heads for getting their information into Curtis to get that done. Thanks to Ally for, I was telling Curtis when it seems like every year we got something else that no one ever deals with that often. So I appreciate Ally's help walking through the Housing Commission. And the Housing Commission has been working with us too to get that taken care of. So I appreciate the help that Ally provided. So thank you.
Terrific. Thank you. Again, welcome Sonia. Appreciate that. And staff, great job again. Another successful audit year. That's great. Always good news. You know, Curtis, you've done a great job, you and your team, turning things around. And I'm sure the cooperation and help of all departments, you know, top to bottom, makes a difference as well. You can't get stuff up to Ally if you're not getting things, cooperation internally. So it's a team effort. There's no doubt about that. The only thing that comes to mind was, I think did we have like a water main break or something over on Park and Downey? Was it?
Dave, you want to brief them on that?
Yeah, Dave hasn't talked. Dave hasn't talked tonight, so.
I could do that, because him and I talked about it at length, but.
Just to get it on the camera, I think would be appropriate, so.
Dave Ringel, Public Services Director. I almost made it through without having to talk to everybody. Sorry about that. Yes, we had a water main break, as the mayor mentioned. We were aware of it about 11 o'clock Saturday evening, 12-inch water main on Downey and Park. And with a 12-inch, that makes quite a bit of damage. So the crews didn't get really done cleaning that up and clear that until about noon on Sunday. So we had a busy crew, tired crew. We had water and Public Works working on that at the same time because of the size, because of the duration. And then as part of that, there was a 4-inch line just down the street, a couple blocks from that was affected. We worked on that Monday. And this morning, about 4 in the morning, I was aware of a 12-inch water main break on Hastings Street. So crews are working on that one today. So unfortunately, it's the season. The 12 inches are rare that those, knock on wood, not challenge the heavens. Could be related due to water pressure loss and things, just because it is a few blocks away. But any particular questions related to those? But
I'm just curious, do you know how old that main is? Because I think Downey was major reconstruction not all that long ago.
Yes.
Which is in my lifetime is considered anything new, right?
As of right now, I don't know the age of that water main on there, because it has not been standard practice right up until 1998 to replace water mains and streets at the same time. Sanitaries were part of that in about the mid-2000s when we did all 3 utilities at the same time, which has been extremely beneficial for those reasons. City manager and I talked early Sunday morning about the main on Park and Downey. The question came up was, Park, didn't we do that one recently? No, it's not. This is the main that's on Downey Street, not the one that's on Park. So they tee together. This is not the one that's been replaced. I'm going to go back and say the baby. Park Street, 2001, I know that one because that was the first street project that I designed and built, so I know the year of that one, and it was not that line. Doing some research on the one on Downey Street. I can't say though, and I won't say categorically that was done at the same time as Downey, because like I said, right up until 98, that was when that was standard practice. So.
Anybody have questions?
While you're up there, an unrelated question. The gas main replacement along Charles has nothing to do with us, I assume?
It's preemptive work before the street project. Unless there's been a break that I'm not aware of. There's some relocations as well as a communication line that was relocated, and hopefully they don't have to relocate it again based on what I'm finding out where we asked them to relocate that. So.
Okay.
And just like on Moyer Street as well, that one is probably going on right now because Consumers wasn't able to get in that one until January, February of this year, hence why we were in no particular hurry to get Moyer done, as we couldn't anyway, but, so they could do that while the terrace.
Okay, thank you.
And just for the historical, how old things are, Dave's talking about Park Street, when we redid that water line, when we dug that up, that was a wooden water main still working.
No, it was not working.
It was not working?
No, we found portions of it. No, we have not found any live working water mains. There are some neighbors around us that have. I'll remain them nameless. Theirs are all done to their knowledge now. But we found evidence of it. Same thing on State Street. I actually had a piece of my house we pulled out on State Street that was in pretty good shape. I don't recall if anybody ever wants to see it, a new commissioner, if you get bored, stop by the water plant. We actually have a piece of wooden water main, and it's got the core bonnet with the brass core. We found and that might have been off Park Street now that I think about it, because it was around that era where we found it.
It was a big chunk. That's all I remember. It was a big chunk that I was on the impression of.
Yeah, that was, to our date, that was about 1892, 1888 is the age that we kind of referenced that one back to.
So we were able to collect on the warranty?
Out of warranty.
And interesting how those are built. If anybody gets bored, I've got, I can bore you guys with some statistics and information. Just random pictures that if you have guests at dinner parties that stay too long, invite me, I'll clear them out in 5 minutes. So, it's guaranteed.
But only for water distribution, not the sewer side, right?
We can do it with sewer as well, but we'll not have that discussion.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the information. Okay, with that, we entertain members of the public. If they'd like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and then get you up to 5 minutes. Did you want to go again? Oh, it's a different meeting. Technically, you could look at the minutes. We're in a different session here, so. Anybody? Not seeing anybody move forward, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn this evening.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and support, I believe. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Safe travels.